All right, everybody, let's give Ron Tonkin Honda a round of applause.
Okay, so for training, started back at the GE Institute, and we had our eyes open to how much we've gotten away from it and how important it was. I went, and then I sent Nate right after me to it, and then kind of came back to the store. I originally was kind of thinking that it would be an opportunity for another sales manager to kind of take the lead on training and do that kind of stuff, but then I realized it's really important. I thought it was the spot where you can direct culture, direct training, or besides just the training and the thoughts, the culture, what you want to get through and drill down. So I kind of led it. It starts, put together a training calendar. We managers and I get together on Friday. I'll go over next week's training with them so they have an idea of what's coming up, if I have handouts, things like that, so that we stay on the same page. While I think it's great for them to hear it from other people and other managers do the training, I wanted it to be consistent. So we'll do that. Then during the week we do the training at noon. I have 2 crews, so they all come in. We gather up, it's a half-hour sharp, and we stay right on it. Occasionally it'll bleed over and stuff, but I'll stop it and excuse anybody that wants to go or gone. Make sure that we stick to starting and finishing on time. And then it's not just myself, there's been other managers that will be involved with doing it. Last couple of weeks we've been working with trying to turn it over to the salespeople. We got off to fabs, and, getting all their areas together and assigning different cars, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to turn it over to them. It was a little choppy, it was a challenge. So that's kind of what our training process is. We move it around on topics. We stay on a topic for a whole week. Most of the time, with the different crews and stuff, they'll hear it 2 times. It's possible they might hear it a 3rd time, at least once. And then we're on to the next topic. I mix it up. It would be a difference between just fundamentals on something in the process to, I believe that we're in a human business, interactions, relationships. So I'll mix in training on that type of stuff as well. And that's where we're at. We've had challenges, obviously, of turnover in managers and kind of got us off schedule a little bit. We've had challenges on getting busy in the day and getting up there. But there's always seems to be someone up there. We get going on it. It's kind of what we've been going through. Too short?
No, you're fine.
That's perfect.
Jeez, like nailed it.
I was going to say
Where we're at, what we're doing.
Well, what questions do we have for Duncan?
You stay on the topic for the whole week, and you have 2 crews, so the other crew is doing the same thing on Wednesday and Thursday as well. Are you doing it during the day? You split the shifts during the day?
Yeah, so there's not crews, so everybody's got 2 days off during the week. So some guy might do this, that, whatever. So, but I have whoever's going to be there at noon. So we do it at noon, Monday through Thursday. Friday is a sales meeting.
So when you say you're turning it over to the salespeople, is the manager still involved in that training as well?
Yes, we have a manager up there the whole time. That portion of the training we're just trying to facilitate, keep them on task. Who's up next? Okay, you've got this team's up now, introducing this. What's that?
So I think that's important that somebody's there to keep them on task.
Yeah, no, you gotta have direction and be involved. And
As a regular salesperson,
yes.
I'm not a manager or anything, I'm a salesperson, I do training.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of caught in the middle of what he just said as far as feeling it's important for a manager to be in the sales training versus a salesperson being in the sales training. For me, I'm on their level. I can communicate, I know the personalities, as an individual because I'm out in the trenches with them. When you bring a manager in, I feel Now we have a separation of managers, so they have a certain image versus salespeople, okay? And I don't think, at least in my experience, the salespeople are as open with their feelings and how to be taught and even asking questions when a sales manager is there maybe to intimidate them, or again, they're in a different department. Are you experiencing that?
We have a different team. Most of the team has never sold a car except for at our organization. So from the onboarding through everything, it's been our culture, in fact, the bottom of our board is people that sold cars somewhere else, or that I inherited that when I got there. I've got people that have been sold the car that are doing 18 to 20 cars a month in less than 3-4 months. I do try to, it's important to keep it fun. I think that's been, the attitude of it when we go up there has not been dictatorial or anything. We sit in a circle, we kind of get together, I'll facilitate, ask questions, keep things moving. What do you think about that? Elaborate, tell us more about how you're feeling about that. Because I don't want to intimidate or just, I remember coming up, you sit there and your GM or just someone's and you're, how do I get out of here? And so I keep that with me. I'm a salesman at heart, always will be. And try and be conscientious of it. It's the best way I can handle that right now. I've seen some of our younger people, a lot of our people come up and now are in finance and want to move all the way to the desk, and it's good to get them involved with the training, and you see them start taking over and participating more, and it's where your leaders are stepping up and showing themselves. It's an opportunity for them.
We had a situation, somebody was talking about call training earlier.
Yeah.
So we spent some money on a system, and all of our calls were recorded. For a straight month, our GM, on my 2 days of training, actually training was taken away from me for pretty much a straight month. And my team was brought in every morning with the GM, and he would sit down and play back our phone calls from the day prior. So created some good results and some bad results. Some of the good results were that people really started to pay attention, started to focus on the phone training. And it was really good phone training, actually, that we were going through. And there were modules, and it was probably six plus hours worth of training on the phone, and how to answer the phone, and it was pretty dedicated. The negative results I think that we got was people stopped answering phones because they didn't want to be recorded. They didn't want part of that. So that was kind of the negative part of it. And I wanted to bring up another portion, and that is, Stan and I have our opinions on this, but we've dedicated one person now. All the phones have been punched over to the internet side of things. We got one guy there. The guy's name's Mike Carson. All he does is take phone calls and set appointments. There's internet leads, and then there are actually just straight up phone pops. And so the system that's created now, he has quite a bit of power because he is taking those leads and dedicating those leads out to people that he feels would work best with that person. More under the thought process, whoever's number one on the list, if he happens to take a phone pop and he came across the street on 1, 2, or 3, whoever's number one on the list should get that phone pop and work with that person. We're still working through a lot of that, but that's our system now. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we don't have that person there, and we're back to taking phone pops again. So it's pretty interesting system, and I just thought I'd bring that up.
Okay. Is there a question? Are you asking my opinion on it?
Yeah,
or?
I just wanted to know what you thought of that. How are you handling your phone pops right now?
I would say that I've worked in stores where we had Next Up and Up systems. I'm not a fan. I probably feel a little bit more along the lines of Boyd, and that I'd rather have my team active and aggressive. When I've seen the idea behind like the Next Up was they would be supposed to be up in the room, work on their follow-up and all that kind of stuff. And then we'd come down to the showroom floor. We had an upstairs and old store, and then be on point until they're up, and then we knew it got logged and things like that. It was very regimented, but I found that if I would wander upstairs, there would be people messing around or just off to lunch, and then you never know how fast that system's going to move. Sometimes you might be 4 deep and you think you've got 2 hours, and the next thing you're up in 15 minutes. I understand the uncomfortable of sitting in front of listening to yourself and picking it apart. I've gone through it as a manager. We'll go through training, and next thing you know, then come down an hour later, I'll listen to a phone call or read a transcript. I'm like, oh my God. You don't pull that person right away and grab them. You got to make sure that you're in a good spot for training as well. And keep working on it. They're not perfect. We're not. All you can do is just keep fostering the growth in a positive way is how I try and about it. If there's a fault of mine, I'm probably not enough of a disciplinarian, but I get a lot of buy-in from the team. So
here's a thought I have on that is Pat Riley, who was his book was in with him. And when he first got hired, he played at Kentucky, and he was the announcer at the Laker games. He wasn't even a coach. They hired him, and he got all the film of all the players. He brought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in first. Spliced all his film of all the things Kareem was doing wrong. Halfway through, Kareem stops and he says, Coach, I understand what you're trying to do. He says, but I'm the leading scorer in the history of the game. I'm second in rebounds. Just a bit of advice for you. Besides what we're doing wrong, why don't you show the players what they're doing right? So my analogy there is I would play the good foam pops that are really good and say, geez, did you hear how Shun did that? That was awesome. Did you see how he did his greeting? And then how he followed up and he did the trade hook? That was awesome. And then if somebody sucks on the phone, do it one-on-one. Mm-hmm. So if you do that in a group, people are going to do what? Shit, I'm not going to answer the phone. So you're defeating the purpose. And I never forgot that. See the good in what guys are doing and do that in public. And then the ones that are not good, you do it one-on-one and say, this needs to improve. It's also what? It's a good model for those that are not answering the phone well to say, geez, Shun did a great job there. Just a thought.
We've kind of built a culture like that. We always start our sales meetings that way with good of the order, and people have to shout out things that they've seen go well, to managers, to other things. It puts them in a positive mindset. It's really easy to sit in a meeting or sit somewhere and go negative. In fact, it's characteristic is to be negative mostly. So, anyways.
Well, all right, well, let's give him a hand. Thank you.